Hi, and welcome to the first annual Mama Step Into Greatness Summit. I am so excited you're here. This is sponsored by Catherine Sakely-Stevens at thenetworkingweb.com. I'm Belinda Ginters, and I'm your stress management and reduction therapist and founder and host of this dynamic and brilliant Mama Step Into Greatness online event and virtual summit. I'm so excited that you're here, and thank you for taking the time to invest in yourself. I have created the summit for you, beautiful mamas out there, that are stressed out, overwhelmed, and sometimes just don't know how we're going to manage it all. Busy mamas are the most selfless people in this world. We're always putting ourselves last, making sure everyone and everything comes before us. Raising a family, taking care of the kids, managing the household, growing the business, and in the midst of it all, we forget about the most important person, you. And beautiful lady, you need to know you're in the right place in the right time. They say when we take care of ourselves, we can take care of everybody else around us. And invest in yourself keeps you growing, keeps your body strong, keeps your mind open, and reduces overwhelm. It allows you the space to be the best you and a fantastic role model for your children. My mission is simple: to impact the lives of thousands of women around the world by dissipating their stress, uplifting them, and encouraging them to step into their greatness. I have brought together 17 plus speakers and experts in mindset, wellness, business, and much more. This is going to be an incredible, valuable, and inspirational, jam-packed four-day online event that is going to help you up-level your life, live better, breathe easier, and be happier, and step into your greatness with practical tips, solutions, and strategies that will literally change your life. So for now, please remove all distractions, turn up the volume, focus, and honor yourself for showing up, because this virtual summit is for you. It's your turn. Hi, everybody. Thank you for tuning in and being here. This is the first day of the Mama Step Into Greatness Summit. I'm so excited. And this is session number 1 of 5 today. And you are just so in for a special treat because today we have Belinda Ginters. Hi, Belinda.
Hi, so happy to be here.
Thanks for being here. I'm so excited. So Belinda is going to talk to you. She's an industry leader, actually, in emotional kinesiology, and she's a success mentoring coach. She's also the creator of Unstoppable Mindset on Demand program with Belinda. And today she's going to talk about lost and found mom, how to reclaim and sustain your power after the birth of your children. And she's going to share her top tips she uses personally to get her mama mojo back. Tips you can start using today that will empower you tomorrow. I'm so excited. You guys are in for a real treat. Thank you for being here, Belinda.
This is great. I can't wait to speak to your audience. You are such a beacon of light that I know anyone who's following you and in this summit is the same like-minded type of person. So I'm excited to get started.
Yay! Okay, so before we get into your presentation, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into your field of expertise?
Great. Well, I kind of fell into it, really. When I was in university, I was actually studying to become a chiropractor. I knew I wanted to serve. I just didn't know how I wanted to serve the world. And I looked into the healing art of chiropractic way back in the day, and I was taking some prerequisites to get into the doctorate program. And one of it was psychology. And I love psychology, so I took as many as I could at the university. And I remember my professor saying, hey, listen, you have a project coming up, and I really think you should do it on emotional kinesiology. And I was like, what is that? And he's like, it's you. I don't know how to explain it. I want you to research. I would love for you to do this topic. So I did, got an A on that report, loved it, fell in love with the healing art of it, and then completely forgot about it again for 10 years, which a lot of us women do that, right?
Yes.
We kind of get presented a gift, and here's your passion, and we well, that was too easy. It can't be it. I'm going to move on to something else.
Yes.
But years later, I moved to a new town in Canada, a new city, and I met what is now my mentor, who taught me emotional kinesiology, and she brought it all back to me. And I'm like, no, I know this. I just don't know the technique down. And she's like, well, I created one. Let me train you. And then again, took the course, got certified, forgot about it for 10 years. Thought that I had to make my husband successful before I could make myself successful. So I got his business up and running. I've just always had a business sense. So I got his systems and got his practice and his business up. And then it was kind of, probably 10 years to the day I woke up and I was like, it's my turn now. Went back, restudied it, and actually launched my own coaching, mentoring business within a couple of weeks of having that realization, and knocked it out of the park. Made 10 grand my first month,
Nice.
just because I was finally doing what I was meant to be doing, and I was finally obedient and listening to it.
Yes. Oh, what an incredible story. That's so encouraging for all those women out there. So thank you for that. What would you say the number one struggle you see for mamas trying to find themselves again after having their babies?
Well, I think that's the problem. They're trying to find something that's already there. It's just they just need to understand there's a new version. Just because there's a new version of your body after having a child, like things just are a little different, but they're beautiful. And the changes, if you embrace them, can just be part of a new metamorphosis. Right? Yes. But it's the same thing. Like, I think sometimes we go looking for something and go digging for something that we don't need to. Like the answer is, right, you're the same person. You've just delivered a person.
Yes.
So getting back to what you loved before is the quickest way. And I think we overlook it because just how I overlook my passions, it seems too easy that that's the solution.
Yeah, because we're so busy probably putting everything and anything before us before we actually look deep within, right? So
Yeah, and we're looking for anything that's wrong instead of what's already right. So it's a mindset shift that has to happen there.
Yes, and that's a big mindset shift because what we focus on grows, right? And so I really like that. I really like that. So what would you say is the best secret for those wanting to get their mama mojo back?
Be patient with yourself. Again, you've created this whole new life for yourself, and now you're it's not just about you anymore. It's about you and your family unit, you and your child. But then also, we can't forget about our husbands, which most of us do right at that time. It just we start going into like fight or flight mode where we're just running around putting out fires instead of enjoying the experience. So be patient so you can actually enjoy motherhood, and your happiness will spike instead of depression, anxiety, and a lot of stuff we see mothers going through after is because they aren't being patient and they're not embracing the new changes, and then they take a dive, because our hormones are changing and our bodies are doing so much, and so are our minds, that we just have to be extra kind to ourselves right at that point and do extra acts of self-love. And it's going to feel like the last thing you want to do because you're going to have the mama guilt, but you just need to do it.
Yeah, and you do. And the time that we spend with our family goes so fast. Like my little guy's turning 8 today, and I just can't, right? You get into that fight or flight mode, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, where did the last 10 years go, or the last 8 years, or right? And so I love that point. Okay, so do you have a specific strategy that you have used to get your mojo back, your mama mojo?
You know what? I embraced being a mom. I came to terms with my decision, because I think we always have that moment where we're like, what the heck did we do?
Yeah.
Twice. So it's like, you just have to get your footing. And, I embraced my new life, and that really got things in order for me, so then I could actually enjoy it and be happy instead of analyzing it constantly too. There is a time and a space where self-growth and personal growth while you're going through this can almost be sabotaging, because you get so much looking at things that are going wrong instead of looking what things are going right, and then you kind of just focus on that so hard.
Yeah.
So, my best strategy is kindness, and it's be patient, and it is, know that you didn't lose anything. We think we're lost and found, Mom. Like, I even had this vision. I'm like, I'm going to write a book about this. It's going to be like the Lost and Found book or Lost and Found that we had in little school, where we went and found our mitts and stuff. But I'm going to be sitting in, because it's exactly how I felt. But now, looking back as years have gone by, I realized I wasn't lost at all. It was my perception at the time, because I was in fight or flight, and my nervous system was freaking out with all the changes.
Yes, and as mothers, we go through lots of changes daily, in the moment, right? I mean, it's really incredible. So I like knowing that we need to have patience, we need to be kind, and it all just comes together. Okay, so how can our beautiful women out there connect with you and learn more about you and just get in touch with you?
Yeah, definitely. They can visit my website, which is www.belindaginter.com. So just my name.
Okay.
You can follow me on Instagram at Unstoppable Belinda, and feel free to send me a personal Facebook request. I do business and everything on my personal Facebook page, because I just want to be absolutely transparent with everybody that I work with or that follows me. I didn't want to compartmentalize myself. So yeah, send me a friend request on Facebook. I would love to get to know all you listeners as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. So with that, she has a fantastic presentation to give you guys on Lost and Found Mom, and I'm going to let Belinda take it away. So take it away, honey. It's all yours.
All right. Well, when I was thinking about this, I thought, what is the best way to get you guys to understand that there's nothing that needs to be found. You're already whole. Like, there's nothing to fix. You're already a whole person. You've just expanded your love. Like, just like when you have a second child, sometimes you feel like, how could I possibly have a second child? Like, how could I love someone as much as I love this first child? And what you realize is that it's not something you have to think about. Your heart just expands. And so what you need to realize is, when thinking about Lost and Found Mom and how most of us are feeling right after having a child, we feel a little lost, right? We feel like we need to help and we need to be found. But if we just, bear down and just realize that we're already found, okay? And we're just going to build on that concept. So what I wanted to do is put it in the acronym of CHILD for you, because it will be easy to remember. And the first thing is C. And the C part is really clarifying and remember what made you happy and what you were passionate about before you had children, even before you got married or in your current partnership. Because the more clarity we get on what makes us tick, what makes us happy, what makes us feel fulfilled as a human being, all we have to do after having children is go back to those things. So I would highly, highly recommend journaling this out. Really, what were my loves? What was I passionate about? I actually, I practice what I preach. So I did this yesterday. I'd gotten away from working out. And I was like, okay, well, I've tried everything and I'm still not doing it. I've got gym memberships, whatever. I just don't go. So there was a blockage there, and I had to sit down with my journal and do this C, get the clarity, find out, what I was passionate about before so I can get back there. Well, growing up as a child, I was very passionate about dance. So I found a dance routine, CDs or DVDs out there that you can do, but it is all dance training. Now that made me excited, and I've been able to do it every day since. So it's like the key, I always say the key to success in anything you're facing is clarity. The more clear you are on your wants and needs and what makes you tick and what makes you light up as a human being is exactly, what you need to bring forth in your life. So my first massive tip for you guys getting your mojo back is remember what your mojo is. Remember what made you passionate, made you tick, made you excited. because that's what we have to bring back, because that's the true essence of you. So we just need to get that essence back so you can feel good, and even those around you will feel good. Just know you're not fooling anyone. If you're feeling off, your friends, your partners, your spouses, whoever's around you is going to feel that too, because they just know you're not being 100% you. You just can't be authentic when you feel lost. So when you're lost, find that clarity, which will shine a bright light on who you are, what you do, and what makes you tick, and do more of those activities. Simple as that. No big changes overnight. Even if you incorporate this by 1% and change it by 1%, you start doing more of these activities that bring you that passion, that get you excited, that connect to something you used to love years ago, you will be increasing everything by 365% by the end of the year. Wouldn't that feel phenomenal? So go back to the basics. Go back to your beginnings of what made you happy, and we're going to incorporate more. The next is happiness. Now, happiness cannot be underrated as a mom, because, you've all heard the term happy wife, happy life. Well, there's so much truth to that. And if there's not a happy mom, watch out, because the whole family unit's glue is going to come unglued. So really tap into your happiness. And by tapping in, I mean it has to be your priority. Unfortunately, no one's going to make our happiness their priority. It's an inside job. So by tapping into and making it a priority, your happiness, what I mean is we have to fill up our own cups first. As a mom, it means I generally have to get up earlier so I can take care of myself, maybe get some meditation in, maybe do a yoga class, do an exercise class, or just simply sit and have a quiet cup of tea before life gets busy. And by doing that and filling up my own cup first, then I can pour to my family, to my clients, to everyone all day long, because I've taken care of myself first. It's the one thing we give up in motherhood that I find across the board. It's just like instantly we become last on the totem pole of priorities. And by really prioritizing our happiness and really making happiness key, then we will strategize and manipulate our calendars so that we can be happy. One of the biggest things I did as a mom is I manipulated my calendar to the point that I didn't want to rush anymore. God, wouldn't that feel good, guys, to eliminate rush from your life? I literally eliminated rush by blocking out times for the kids' activities, making myself have time to get a healthy meal in before we go to the next activity, or I just don't sign them up for it. So really think about your happiness when you're looking at your whole family unit as a whole, because it's going to make a dramatic difference. And again, if you're feeling happy, you're going to be passing that on. It's going to be a beautiful ripple effect, but the opposite is true too, guys. If we're not feeling happy, that ripple effect is not what we want to go out into our families. So no longer are you the lowest on the totem pole. In fact, it's very self-full, not selfish, self-full, to put yourself first, make sure your needs are being done, make sure you're getting your workouts in, that you're fueling your body right, that you're properly hydrated, and then allow yourself to take care of others, whether that's going to work, or maybe you own your own business, or your family, or your husband, or all of it, okay? So we're gonna really take a look at our happiness. We're gonna manipulate our calendars and our schedules and our agendas to make sure we come first. We'll do what it takes, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it means getting up a little bit earlier, or sometimes for me, it's even staying up a little bit later, getting the kids to bed at a decent time. So I actually got block time with me and my husband to connect, because as the children now start to get older, it becomes like a tag team between you and your husband. It's like, tag, you're it. Okay, you're on to the next activity, but you lose a lot of connection there. So I tend to get up a little bit early, stay up a little bit later, so I can feel fulfilled as a human, and then can give as a mom. Does that make sense to you all? So that's the H. So the C was clarity. The H is happiness. Now we're going to go on to the I. And the I is identifying your weaknesses. Okay? And what I mean by that is your weaknesses as a mom. Okay? This is a new title that you just got promoted into. But you really need to understand, just like you do in a job interview for any skill, they say, okay, what's your biggest weaknesses? Right? No different when you're going into this new role as mother. You know, what are your weaknesses here? By identifying your weaknesses, what that does is allow you to ask for support. It cracks you open to being vulnerable, cracks you open to be transparent, and it cracks you open to asking for help. The biggest thing I see mothers do perceivably wrong is not knowing where their weaknesses are, so not anticipating where they need support and help, so then they have trouble asking when they're kind of in it. It's so much harder to ask for support and stuff because it feels so heavy. Right? But if you know what your weaknesses are, so maybe that's time management, maybe that's keeping the house all together, maybe that's, communication. If you know what these weaknesses are beforehand, then you can strategize and you can ask people for support and put people into the right places so that you can they can support you while you support your whole family, basically. So I ask for a lot of support. I really believe in delegation, and I believe in kind of focusing on what's your zone of genius and let others do the same. So I ask for support a lot. Like, I have a dog that needs high energy. He needs to be run out. So I hired a dog walker. She comes 4 times a week, and she runs him out for an hour and a half at the dog park, and she brings him back to me. There's no guilt in that because I am making sure my family's needs are being met. So my dog's not crazy and jumping on my kids and stealing their toys all day by getting the support I need so that they can, function too. So it's like a catch-22. It doesn't make sense if you're struggling with organization not to bring in someone that maybe you pay $20 or $30 an hour that organizes a room for you, so then you just have to keep it up. It makes perfect sense in these situations to get guidance and support. Maybe you just, no matter what, just cannot keep up with the cleanliness of your house. No guilt and shame in that. Guys, we weren't meant to do it all. Okay, we were meant to have it all, but we weren't meant to do it all. And I think that's what kind of got lost in the women's lib movement, is that we said, yes, we want to go and work here and we want to do this, but we thought we were going to get support with the other things we were already doing. Well, that kind of blew up in our faces as women. So we have to ask for the support we need to have that stuff. And the only way we can ask is if we're really clear on and identify what those weaknesses are so we can get support in the proper places. So take the time to explore that with yourself. Ask those around you. They'll tell you your weaknesses. My husband can probably rhyme off all of mine if we were to ask him right now. In all good fun though, but we sometimes don't see our weaknesses. We don't see where we're not rising to the occasion. Sometimes we're just in survival mode. It's just like, even if I get past like this next hour, I'm doing good. And that's okay. But really identify those weaknesses, find out where we can fill those weaknesses with someone else's strength, and get yourself the proper support you need to move on. So C was clarity, H was happiness, I was identifying your needs and your weaknesses, and L is love yourself first. Okay, we talked a tiny bit about it, but really it is the main thing. And the reason we feel so lost and feel like a lost and found mom is because we've lost that love for ourselves. Maybe our bodies have changed, our hormones have definitely changed, our situation have changed financially, emotionally, spiritually, maybe you're not even making it, you're a churchgoer and you haven't even made it to church because, you're finding it hard now to go with kids. What happens when all those things compound is a breakdown, a breakdown of your happiness, a breakdown of your health, of your well-being, of everything. So when you focus on loving yourself, it just means that you're being selfful and you're really understanding where you can amp up the love. Like, think of it as an amplifier, right? Where do you need to ramp up love for yourself? Maybe you're feeling a little down, so maybe you need some time alone, because you're feeling overwhelmed and you're feeling like all these new pressures are taking their toll. Well, to love yourself means that you get away by yourself and you take a breather when you need it, right? If you feel like, as I said, on the spiritual front, maybe you go to church, or maybe you're used to listening to some YouTube, advice and maybe TED Talks, things like that, and you haven't gotten around to it. One of the biggest things I found that was hard for me is reading. I'm an avid reader. I read 2 novels a month religiously. And I found I couldn't read when I had children. I was just too exhausted, and the time restraints, and they were unpredictable. Those children, they would wake up at all different times when I had totally scheduled their nap. How dare them? But really, I was losing love for myself because I wasn't fueling my knowledge, and that was a basic need of mine. It was a high value of mine. So think about the things like that you can rev up the love for yourself. Think about where you've been lacking a little bit of love, and simply we're just going to reincorporate that up. We're going to ramp it up so that you can feel good, so you're having endorphins released that are feel good endorphins, and you can feel loved, but not by external, but by yourself. Because if you don't have that grounding, life throws its curveballs all the time, and certainly parenthood does, and motherhood. So you gotta have to have that grounding of that self-love, not in a cheesy way, but in a really real, practical way. So ramp up the things you love, do more of it, understand where you're lacking and where you feel not 100%. Like, a good way to do that is just to rate it. Like, how am I feeling right now on a love rating with my spiritual self, with my physical self, with my emotional self, with the relationships around me, with the hobbies I do. Do I even still do hobbies that used to fill me up? Kind of gauge everything and just see where we can just rev up that love meter to the point that you feel so much love for yourself, that all the love you get on the outside from your family, from your friends, from the external, is just like a cherry on top of an already perfectly made cake. Already tastes good, already looks good, but it's just a beautiful add-on to something that's already whole. Because the reason I included that one is because a lot of the times when you're talking to mothers, they actually even use that expression that they don't feel whole anymore. And what they're saying is they don't feel the love for themselves anymore when they say that type of comment. So I don't want that for you. I want you to always feel full up of love and fully engaged in what you do. So the last one is D, okay? And D is, don't second guess yourself, and don't shoulda on yourself all the time. As mothers, we do this often, okay? So we second guess ourselves on every action we do, and it really does steal our mojo. We're looking around at what everybody's doing, and that's another really great one, is don't compare yourself to anyone, because that's, again, the first thing us mothers do. We start looking around at all these other mothers. We judge them at being more together or better at it or more organized or, more fit or more than us. And what that does is it steals our mojo, because we're so busy looking around at everybody else that we're not just enjoying the experience of motherhood. the second guessing that goes on is crazy. I think every action we do, we start thinking, oh, I gave our child this to eat, but then I read this article, it said not to do it, and I read this, and this person said this, and all these, like, all this chatter or mind chatter starts to go on, and it just brings us down. So make decisions slowly, okay? Be confident in the ones you make, knowing that a decision can always be changed and you can always do something different, or as you learn more, you'll do more. But really trust in yourself and stop, just don't do the double guessing, because it really is going to bring you down. And the comparison, I always say, the best thing to do for success, again, in any topic, we're talking about motherhood right now, but in any topic, is to stay in your own lane, put your blinders on, and not watch what everybody else is doing. I always think of those racehorses who run in races, and they're in their own lane, and they have their blinders on, and they know where they're going. They see the end goal, and they are just on their own journey. Mothers could learn a lot from these racehorses, a ton, in fact. Because it really does ring true to us, because the minute you take your eye off the prize, and the prize is just a happy life with your children and your family, the minute you start turning your head just even the slightest way is when things start to go wrong for us. We start to feel less than, we start judging ourselves, we start comparing ourselves, we start second guessing ourselves and our decisions. So it really plays a really destructive role in motherhood when we do that. So stay on your path. Do it with pride. Know that you're going to make a ton of perceived mistakes. Tons. I still make parenthood mistakes daily, because it's how we learn, and it's part of our children's journey too. But know that you know what you're doing. I know this motherhood thing didn't come with a manual. God, don't you wish it did? It would be so helpful. But really, you are capable of figuring it all out, and you're capable of doing it your way. And I think the reason so many people feel lost and like a lost and found mom is because they're trying to do it so many multiple ways that they're learning from other people, which is just not their way. It's okay to take advice, and it's okay to see what's working, but then take it and cultivate parenthood and make it into what you want it to be. Just like we do with traditions for our families, right? We see how a lot of people are celebrating different things. And then generally we'll come together with our partners or husbands or boyfriends or girlfriends, and we'll sit there and say, okay, how do we want to celebrate this as a family? That's exactly what I want you to do with motherhood, but specifically about how you want to be a mother. It's kind of a question that no one asks themselves. It's a really good journal question. So, get out the old journals tonight, because I think that is phenomenal for you to sit down and actually realize, ask yourself, what type of mother do I want to be? How do I want to make decisions for my family? How do I want to set myself up for success so that I don't have to burn out to be a great mom? Where could I get support as a mother? Who can I ask immediately for help in something I know is a weakness? Aren't these awesome journal questions you wish someone had told you right in the beginning? Hopefully you guys are right in the beginning and I'm making a difference here. But I would have killed to just sit back and ask myself these questions, because we go right into what does everyone need from me. As soon as a baby comes out, like, your sole focus is that baby. So to get yourself from lost and found mom to mom of your dreams, it really is just the shift in perspective back to yourself, and to realize that nobody's asking you to give up yourself. This is all self-destructive. It's all self-encouraged. That's the part that we have to call ourselves out on. Our husbands didn't ask us to change. The kids didn't ask us to change. We just kind of intuitively do things that we think is right. But if those things jeopardize who we are as a person and us as a whole, things will snowball into a place you don't want them to. So again, to go over the child analogy, C was really finding clarity on who you are. Okay. H is happiness. Where can we like get you happy more often? I is identifying your needs and your weaknesses so that you can know the areas to get support and to delegate out. And just, it's also a way to create community. You know, if you're open and honest as mothers, we have a lot of the same weaknesses, and or the opposite. One person's strengths will be another person's weakness. But if we get together with a group of moms and say, "Gosh, I really struggle with like, you know, organizing my time," and another mom can say, "Well, I really struggle with preparing healthy meals or like meal prep," and someone else can say, "I really struggle with just even staying positive about this, like I'm exhausted." Then you guys can say, well, maybe one of you is good at organization. You can say, well, why don't on Sundays we all come over to my house, we'll all meal prep together for the week and it will be done in an hour. The kids can be there so that we're all watching and we're all taking turns, but we're getting our needs met. You know, if you're really good at organizing, you may say, okay, why don't you watch my child for an hour? I'll come over to your house, I'll organize your kitchen, get you set up, or organize the living room, whatever, with the toys so that you're good. So you're drawing on each other's strengths, and that makes you so strong, and it actually builds a strong community for you as mothers, which I highly suggest. Isolation is not good for motherhood. So when you're on the I of child, really identifying those weaknesses so you can get support, build some community, and really build up. L was loving yourself first. Where are you love deprived, and how can we ramp that up? D was don't second guess yourself, don't compare yourself, and don't I shoulda all over the place. Because life is too short and it is not healthy, and there's so many other ways to do what you want to do and do it great, which is being a great mom, but being healthy and happy at the same time. So that is what I have for you today. I just want to just finish up saying that it's not hard to get your power back, to get your mojo back, to, you know, reclaim who you used to be. All of it's about self-discovery and remembering who you are, and also thinking about who you want to become and start to work towards that as well. Your dreams and your goals and your aspirations don't have to go anywhere when you become a mom. You can still work towards them. Drop any guilt around being selfish and actually replace the word selfish with selfful. And we're going to see massive changes if we do that. Reclaim your financial power as well. Sometimes that's where we fall out of line with ourselves, is that we start to feel that, you know, maybe we're on mat leave and we're making less money, or maybe we just don't have any money coming in because our sole focus is the children right now. Take little steps to feel better about your finances. That is going to help you take away the lost and found mom as well. Make sure you're emotionally good. Have a good support system around you, and be open, honest, and transparent with them. Be vulnerable. If you're not feeling good, then let somebody know, because there is lots of help for mothers out there. And because our hormones are changing so much, a lot of it's very normal. And it will help by even just talking to other mothers and finding out how normal it is and how they dealt with it. But definitely talk to someone if you're feeling really lost and found, because there's definitely so much help out there. And, you know, we all experience this completely different. Remember to be playful, loving with yourself, okay? Do the things you once loved. You don't have to substitute a new thing coming in your life and getting rid of an old thing. That's an old paradigm. You can keep everything that you have already. Add this child or children to your awesome already life without having to sacrifice all the things that you love. So really think about all the things, you know, I brought to you today. Do those journal questions I gave you, and I know you're going to feel awesome as a mom. And not only are you going to have your mojo, you're going to be a mom boss, which I love. So that's all for me today.
Thank you, Belinda. That was so incredible. And I'm extremely honored. Just on a personal note, Belinda is a mentor of mine. And to have her speaking to all of you, wasn't that just so amazing? The child acronym, like the information that she provided for us moms out there. I loved your opening line. You're not lost, you're already whole. And that just filled my heart, and I'm sure it filled lots of mamas' hearts out there. So that was just super awesome. I love you're not selfish, you're selfful. Like, I've never heard that term before, and that changes the whole energy around the feeling of the guilt, and right, it just totally uplifts us and it encourages us, and it is just such a wonderful thing. And the 1%, right? Improve yourself 1%. And I know when you were coaching me, you always said stay in your lane and keep your blinders on. And I just over and over and over say that in my head. Stay in your lane, stay in your lane. And it's amazing when you do stay in your lane, how much you get done, how much your focus changes, and just your productivity and your energy and everything that comes to you, all the abundance and everything it just shifts. It's like magic. So stay in your lane and keep your blinders on. I love that. So amazing. So thank you. And anybody, I want you to know that all of our All Access Pass members are going to have bonus information given to us from the speaker. So do you have any bonus information that you would like to offer to our All Access Pass members, Belinda?
Yeah, well, I never do this, but I'm going to do this because of our personal connection. But anyone that comes in from the All Access Pass with you gets a free 30-minute one-to-one session with me.
Wow!
Uncover a lot of these things and see emotionally like where you're at, and if there's any blockage going on, and give you some practical tips in that 30 minutes that's going to get you feeling good again, some strategy on what to work with, and then on your way just feeling good. So it's my way to give back for this amazing experience and exposure you have been kind enough to give me.
That is so gracious. So thank you to all our listeners. Thank you, Belinda, for being here. I appreciate you, my love. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful that you guys are tuning in and you're being part of this first annual Mama Step Into Greatness Summit. Aren't our speakers amazing? Didn't she just do just a wonderful job? So be sure to stick around for our next speaker. And I just want to remind you all, that the working moms out there, that this is just one presentation out of all the entire virtual summit. And we're going to have 4 days. So if you've missed one and you couldn't make one, or you've missed a couple today, or you're going to miss a couple in the next few days, it's no problem. You can get the single replay for up to 48 hours. And if you get the All Access Pass, you can upgrade your learning experience and get lifetime access, and you can listen to all of these fabulous speakers over and over again. You can have access to the entire summit, every speaker, every topic, problem, and solution that the summit has been discussed in the summit. And you can also get the audio version, which is so amazing. So if you're driving or walking or doing some light housework, then you can have the audio version to listen to while you're doing that. Or whether you're just sitting in your bed with a glass of wine and relaxing, you can do that as well. And if you prefer the transcription, you can download the transcription and read it. And as you have heard, all the speakers have given bonuses that are for our All Access Pass members. And their bonuses are amazing, and they are literally going to blow you away. They are so generous and absolutely amazing. And the value on them is just it's priceless because it's knowledge that you can take with you and you can incorporate. And who knows, maybe that one speaker is what you needed to hear and could literally change your life. So download the All Access Pass below. Price is a special offer that I'm offering. It's $97 till June 23rd at midnight. So get your pass below by clicking the orange button, and you can play it until you get it.